Greetings and salutations. I'll presume to call you friends. Excuse me being in working clothes, but hey, I've got my Phoenix scarf that you'll recognize. And if you're seeing this, it's because you've already gotten this and have somehow chosen to avail yourself of the whatever to hear me actually read. And I'm at the Esalen corner in my place. My beloved looking out and across, me and across. And while those were taken in Big Sur, this one bought at the Coast Gallery just below Nepenthe. And they say it's in Hawaii. I don't believe that. I'll call that my Big Sur. So, like I said, you've already gotten this and making a choice. And thank you for looking in on me. You all are indeed precious in my sight. And indeed, there may even be some others who are looking on this without having their own copy. Whatever. I've called this one Musings and Mirrors. Undoubtedly one, perhaps the other. Clearly my musing. Clearly my eyes and my take. Mirrors, I can but hope in seeing and looking you see more of yourselves for your purposes, which quite frankly is more important to me than my own. So, the first one, written before I even got down there. Fingers of not quite fog, but made of more than mist, conjure spirit streams atop cliffs by the sea. The occasional outburst of sunlight untempered by cloud or haze is nearly startling. I've traveled this road many a time before, and while there is no surprise in the curves, there is always delight in newfound differences. The memories of once new music await new melodies, which invite a fresh harmony. Now let this dance begin. Our first night. Esalen has long been an oasis in the desert and the clearing in the forest for many of us creatures. While the individuals vary, the species are mostly the same. This time, more than usual, there are like pairings. Many are here with someone already special to them. As we all come to awareness in attending to ourselves and others, I realize I have come to be with myself. Beginning. Awareness has its own life and being. Hummingbirds are a paradox of motion and stillness. As they flit from place to place with the speed that defies explanation, they appear to defy gravity, being motionless in mid-air. Their bodies are still only because their wing speed, as miraculous as that is, more so was the sight of one still sitting on a branch. May it please even the most driven of us so to heed. For we know that while nectar nourishes here with us, it shall nurture as well. We can speak using you or claiming I. Depends on when we want the other to stand beside us and watch strangers or engage us eye to eye and be more together than apart. Nico. The jungle can make you alive and excited, especially when the other choice is dead. Tough furthers, timid invites fear. The strongest see to themselves alone. Love is most often life, save in the jungle, hard enough to save oneself, to keep the loved ones safe, costs safety for self. The ones who love and are loved stay safe in the jungle only by leaving and moving on. Get out while you can. Just because you've lived in the jungle doesn't make you of the jungle. As you have learned that there's more to life than survival, so may you and those you love make of the jungle but a memory. There, joy and delight await. Make it so for you and yours. Heaven. Even for the most decent of horses who live a life that is well and good, it often comes to pass that awareness might bring to attention that even a good life isn't perfect. He did well pulling carriages of his own choosing and even pulling carriages of another's choice. It was, after all, what he did. And though without equal joy, it had a reward of its own, it had become of late more of a chore. There were those who seemed of the opinion that if he wasn't pulling a carriage of his own or of someone else's, then of course he'd pull theirs. And while he accepted the truth that when he wasn't harnessed to another's, he could indeed pull theirs, there was less joy in that effort and little choice in a destination of their choosing. In the almost resistance that bordered on resentment, memories of stable secrets from his youth began to ghost about. Any horse knows of whips and spurs, but try as he could, there were sometimes too many times when there was no excuse for the hurt and nothing but endurance could be made of it. Worse, there were sister stories of stable scandals that both defied explanation and demanded existence. The mystery of this malice was without light. And while there seemed little now to be done for it, there was nothing he could have done then. Sometimes the best and perhaps only thing that can be done for a wound is the exposure of sunshine and fresh air that is brought by those about us who equally attend to and who care for us. Sometimes the speaking of secrets with courage and daring allows the healing that only scars can bring. We were all once young. We were all once less. And this is now. There is a joy to be had in pulling carriages, be it in Central Park or a forest. Nobility is more to be found in the steed, not in the service. May you gallop from time to time, free of others' reins or anyone else's choice of play. May you stretch your legs in the wind and leave even the birds behind. And may the hands of others about you join our applause for your life. Jacob. There was once a cat who came to the top of a tree and asked the birds what he was doing there. Neither he nor any of the birds had any memory of how he came there to be. He and the birds talk much of flying, but flying isn't what any cat does well or at all. And hard as he tried to understand bird talk, even for one as smart as this cat was, no satisfaction or understanding ever came from that. There were kittens at the foot of the tree that seemed to call this cat home. He packed his cat-like bags and ran away from the treetop to be with the kittens. Those small cats seem unimpressed with the way of birds, for feather skills make not much difference to furry ways. It's not that birds don't matter, it's just that cats fail at flying. And while birds and cats both eat mice, they hunt them in very different ways. And to that end, any cat, any kitten is a better teacher than any of the wisest of owls. It is not for a bad reason that the expression, "and a child shall lead them," has come to be. May the blessings of your love allow your kittens to teach you and to play your way home. And may whatever is left of your 9 lives be in the delights of your family, playmates. You deserve it. There are times when we believe life presents us with but 2 doors. One is labeled understanding, the other, acceptance. In my time of choosing each, I've concluded choosing the door marked acceptance often may yield understanding. Walking through the door marked understanding rarely yields acceptance. Julie. There once was a family of ducks that thought they were living on a pond when they were actually swimming on a river that moved with different currents, tending to sometimes other places than they were intending, sometimes together, sometimes apart, sometimes with lines attached, sometimes with lines severed, with all the quacking both with and each other. Some never noticed the coming waterfall. And though the effort of paddling did in fact change the position of the ducks on the river, it had little effect on either the direction of the river or the speed of the river, and certainly no effect whatsoever on the place of the waterfall. So how to pass the time? How to help or hinder, delay, demand, love, leave? Sometimes to give a line to another slows their trip to the end. Sometimes a line to another, but pulls us faster to their end. Sometimes the only success is an honorable intent, without any guarantee of desired outcome. Sometimes the best we can is but the best we can. The river keeps flowing regardless of our intents or actions. May your troubles be mitigated. May you savor the rewards of your intentions, regardless of their receptions. Life goes on as an ever-flowing river. May you have more time floating and less time struggling, and may your last river be an ocean. Pauline. There was once a princess who married a peasant. That's rarely a plan for a happy end. While it lasted, the princess told him with regularity and frequency how he could ever leave if he wanted. This princess knew how that would work. She learned that from one who thought he was king. And finally, the peasant claimed his leaving. At first, the princess thought it was her fault. She, after all, was the one who picked the peasant. Even so, she came to be wise enough to know somehow, some way, she deserved better. It's tough enough to be a princess when princes are in short supply. More importantly than that, this day, this princess has come to know herself as the queen she is. This queen is more important than any kingdom. Life is dangerous, so is love. Blessings as you make your way. Blessings as you ask and receive. Rejoice as the reward of love. Whether princess or queen or even peasant, you deserve the best. And then regarding myself, I had often thought that to be with myself required turning my back on others. While often true, that is not always a law. At this time, in this place with these folks, I was with myself by backing myself as I faced them. Much of who I am is who I was and with whom I was. I am in any one land with the smells and scars of other lands and other folks. Well, that is not a choice. I can and do choose how much of that I let known in the present place with the folks here and now present. So backing myself, I present myself now and look into the eyes of others. I'm pleased that speaking my sights is seen by some as wisdom. I don't much feel wise, but I give voice to what words appear to my sight in the story of others. I'm humbled by what they hear from my heart from the lens of what I've first felt. My spirit sings in the telling of tales of truth and love. I did not give the first light to this campfire. I did not choose who would circle this flame. I did choose to claim my seat at the table, and am ever so gratified at being accepted. Members of the same family do not always grow up under the same roof. I'm both humbled and happy at the good gifts I've been allowed to give and get. I believe the spirit I serve smiles. And so, reflections. From time to time, we all wear masks, sometimes of our own creation, sometimes by the demands of others. They don't always conceal, sometimes they are but the price of admission, this time a worthwhile price to pay. The love shown forth by strangers makes a present family of those who witness us coming to be ourselves. We often best hear ourselves with the ears of others. We honor the gifts we have been given, not just by giving back, but by giving on. The real world is only and always the world that is real to us. Our dreams are blessed as we bless each other, and we wake to live to the laughter of our lives. Please receive my benediction in the simple words that I craft of what I am but aware, as today becomes tomorrow's yesterday. We live in love as best we are able. Amen. Thank you for letting me be with you. Amen.